with you.
Start churning butter and put on your church shoes, little sister, because we're about to blast off.
Ralph, what is it you're trying to say?
We're going to the internet.
What?
I want to know, of course, Easter eggs, but how does it work together in this film again, but like directors?
Yeah, this is the third time we've worked together. I've been only a writer on the previous two, so this time Rich made the mistake of inviting me to direct this film.
My life.
It's been a disaster. It's been a horrible.
Joking, of course.
No, we have a very close relationship and have been friends for 10 years and worked on 3 movies together. And I think there's a shorthand we've developed in terms of sensibility and sense of humor. And this movie is so big that, and I've always aspired to direct, so Rich asked me if I wanted to partner with him on this, which was a great honor and has been, hugely rewarding.
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs.
Yes.
What about these? How many? Or
How many, or some tips?
There's a lot. More than probably in the hundreds.
Wow.
There's people at the studio that come up to us constantly saying, like, by the way, I hit about 2 or 3 that you don't know about, so you can find
So
those.
we don't know.
We don't even know all of them.
We know a lot, and there are
Yeah.
hundreds that we know about,
Yeah.
and then God only knows how many more.
And lots in the Oh My Disney section, lots of characters and locations and lots of little pieces of 2D animation throughout the scene. So, quite a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Mocha. I'm from Collective Tripods. Welcome to Mexico again.
Thank
Thank you.
Well, my question is around the gamer world. So I'm a gamer, and the gamers will have a lot of questions. One that came one of them, I will ask just one. It came with the reference because we break our head about like Calhoun in the first movie.
Yeah.
We want to know if it's a reference of Samus Aran from Metroid, or is it from Gears of War?
It's not a direct reference to either one of them, but there's definitely influences. Like Gears of War, we definitely kind of looked at that in creating the world of Hero's Duty. And Metroid, we love that character and just the reveal of being a female character, the end. So she's kind of a pastiche of lots of different, game characters. I'm trying to think of
Halo,
yeah. There was a character from Final Fantasy that just the look of her hair, I'm blanking on it right now, but she's kind of a culmination of lots of different characters and styles.
And I guess it happens exactly with Shank, right? And the video game from Shank.
Mm-hmm.
You mean what are those references?
References.
GTA is probably the most obvious one, and Saints Row.
Saints
we talked
Row
about
a lot.
just because there's some little bits of absurdity in Slaughter Race.
That it's so, Saints Row is so over the top that we said it's not exactly GTA, but it's not as crazy or as silly as Saints Row, and her look comes from, it's a little bit of Gal herself, Gal Gadot, based on her face a little bit. I think like the leather jacket is like Fonzie's leather jacket. Somebody said is very like
Really?
from Happy Days. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's
I
so
did
crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Tommy Thompson, our one of our art directors, has really designed and developed these characters along with Corey Loftus. Could be a fashion designer,
Yeah.
so I didn't know that reference was Fonzie, but she's just has an amazing, impeccable eye for style.
And what's funny is that Amy and I were in Beijing just last week, and we were waiting in customs, and there was a man, and it was kind of the switchback lines, and there was a man kind of coming towards us. And I was like, oh my God, Amy, look, he's wearing Shank's jeans. And it was exactly the same jeans, you know, with that Shank wears. So we're very fashion forward.
Yeah, Ami is very fashion forward, for sure.
It was so amazing. It was this guy wearing, it was like, Shank.
That's amazing. Wow.
It's like I wanted to take a picture, but he was kind of looking at us funny, you know, the fact that we were looking at his pants.
A mí me gustaría saber un poquito qué es lo que más bien qué es lo más interesante para ellos de trabajar con toda esta parte virtual y cuál fue su parte favorita de esta película.
She wants to know what was the favorite part of this film, and also what was the favorite part or the most interesting part about working with the virtual reality.
You mean the VR experience?
La experiencia de realidad virtual. Yeah.
So you've been the one that's in malls and at Disneyland and stuff.
In Disney Spring, I think.
Oh, that, yeah.
That's one.
The
Void VR experience, or does she mean just the
¿Qué experiencia
VR,
te refiere?
experiencia virtual te refieres?
En cuanto a la parte de trabajar con estos personajes de manera virtual y traerlo todo a la
Yeah,
pantalla.
they are virtual characters, so how do you bring
Oh,
them
I
into
see.
the reality?
Got it. Oh.
Well, I always feel like that my favorite part of the process is working with lots of different artists, and how everyone kind of brings something special to the table. You know, we work with animators, designers, cameramen, people who light the scene, actors, musicians, and everyone has something, you know, that they bring to this, you know, that makes it better than Phil or I could ever do just by ourselves. You know, it's like we always say in animation, there's no such thing as an auteur of someone who could just go in and do the whole thing by themselves. And I love how I'm surprised, you know, like I'll think, man, I don't know how we're gonna figure out the answer to this problem that we have, and then somehow, you know, you just kind of keep working at it, that it comes, you know, and it's really lots of creative minds focusing, you know, on one project. And I think that when you have such great minds and such a great imagination teamed up, that you can kind of solve anything. So it's, for me, my favorite part is working with the people.
And creating characters in a digital world. It's the same thing we did on the first film, which was not think about video games first. We think about characters and what is the human relationship going on. And so it's the same with this, even though it's this huge, crazy, expansive world of the internet, and well, you know, we're personifying an algorithm and a search engine and stuff like that. It's really what kind of person is this, and how do they relate to Ralph and Vanellope? And Ralph and Vanellope themselves are based on people we know and friends that we've grown up with. And so it's always, I always come at the stories from the standpoint of how do I understand these characters as human beings? Because ultimately those are that's what will resonate, will make you care about the characters.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Hay algo más que se quedara fuera de la película que ustedes quisieran meter, además de la escena que no permitió Lucasfilm? Y cuando se comercialice la película, ¿la podremos ver en escenas adicionales o nunca sabremos de qué se trata?
Are there some things that were left outside the film, in particular that because they didn't allow it, but others that we might see them not in the film but outside of the film?
There was nothing that Disney didn't allow. Like we were able to do everything we wanted. There are lots of scenes that got cut for time, and maybe will show up on DVD extras or something. One that I miss is there was a scene in the middle of the movie where Felix and Calhoun were having dinner with those 15 kids, those little brats from Sugar Rush, and there was a huge food fight, and Calhoun lost her temper and went absolutely crazy on them. And then Felix and Calhoun were just lying in bed afterwards, praying that Ralph would somehow fix the
He's
game.
not, yeah.
Please help Ralph solve our problems. Basically, that scene we loved it, but it
seemed to slow down the story.
Mhm.
It felt like we were going backwards, you know, in
Yeah.
the story. So I missed that one
Yeah.
too. But we have, there's probably more that we don't put in the movie
Yeah.
than is in the movie. There's probably enough to make 3 more movies
Yeah.
that we don't use, you know, and we'll make up jokes and think it's funny for an hour and then
Mhm.
think, you know what, that's not very good. You
Yeah.
know, there were lots of different references in Oh My Disney that we felt like for a moment, like that's great. And then the more we thought about it, you know, we could do better. So
Mhm.
we're always challenging ourselves to really make it the scene as funny as it can be, or as emotional as it can be, or as dramatic as it can be. So we kind of become our own censor, you know, based on that.
Hi, I'm Silva of Relevant. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And well, my question is like you in 2012 that it was WiFi Ralph. You
Yeah.
said that you thought that the technology was so advanced that you can
Oh my
create
God, yeah.
that you
Yeah.
can create a candy car, but you
Yes.
realized that it was not that easy, and the technology it was like not enough, and you had
Right.
to create. What was that thing that in this moment in 2018 you said like, oh my gosh, I have the technology, and you realized that no. And the other one is like you got 3 incredible movies, amazing movies. And you are living the dream of the directors of the animation. You are here traveling and stuff. But do you have like the perfect life as Ralph thought, or you are like Vanellope, like now what?
Mm-hmm.
In what position in your
Very,
life
very good
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
are you now?
I think, yeah, it's so funny to think back to 2012 and like that building a candy car was a big deal, you know, and there were people at the studio that were like, oh my God, you know, look what we did, you know, and like that was the first time we'd ever done something like that, making something out of like a material that you could see through, you know, and but had kind of distortion to it. That was a big thing, you know, and in Frozen it was the ice and the snow particle. Moana was definitely the water, the fluid dynamics for the ocean that they created. I would say for this, and we haven't been able to talk about it a lot because people haven't seen the movie, but
And we don't want to share it until people see it.
but the Ralph monster at the end that's made of all the clones was something that we thought, well, that, you know, it was a crazy idea, you know, and we described it, you know, to our tech department, and they were kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
you know.
Only recently
Yeah.
did we, like, it's done, the movie is done. There are 300 or 400,000 individual Ralphs that go up to make that
big
up.
monster.
And again, if we can hold off on revealing that, it's a spoiler, but it's something that we've had this idea, and turns out, as we were having this wonderful idea, everyone
Isn't that
around
great?
us was saying, oh, the thing, this can't be done. This can't be done. The movie's not going to be done. We're going to have to cancel the movie. They can't have their third act. Everything's, and we're just like, dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. And
But I
and
mean,
it worked. I mean,
hats off to them. It's like no one said like we're not gonna,
Mhm.
you know, we're not gonna say no, you know, because that's just not what our studio does. It's really it is the crazy ideas that push our tech farther, you know, and it's been that way since Walt Disney was alive. You know, it's like he would come up with these crazy ideas of how to make a film. And he had great technicians, and Byworks, you know, who was an animator that worked with him, that was instrumental in those early years of figuring out how to make these visions, you know, come to life and into a reality. And it's no different today. And it's just, our job is to dream big images.
big and weird.
Big,
And then-
and that was one of the biggest ones, you know.
And the other question, I'm thrilled with my life. and I'm happy in my life, and there's always something telling me that I need to do something more, something else. So I've had anxiety and depression in my life, and even as happy as I am and proud as I am of these films, there's always something knocking at the back of my head telling me I need to do something more.
To me, like the idea of like, okay, it's fine, you can relax, is like death. You know, it's like that frightens me to think that I could ever get to a point where I feel like I don't want to do this anymore. You know, like I like the feeling of always kind of being pushing, like someone pushing, you know, behind an invisible hand that's always, no, go, try that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, last question.
Okay, well, welcome back to Mexico.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
26 October. It's a little late, but we're still celebrating.
Oh,
Okay.
it's Friday, right?
Yeah.
That was gonna be.
That's
right.
So,
Happy birthday to
yes, happy birthday, Phil. So,
right.
I just want to say I haven't seen. Everybody say that Avengers was the crossover, the biggest crossover in with the Star Wars. Yeah, but we have to see what happened in all my Disney.
Yeah.
So, do you have like the freedom to? What do you think when you have to choose how to act with so many characters? How many times do you have? It reminds me like remember Zemeckis when he says Roger Rabbit. It was something like that, no? But to keep the character, what time they have to be on, and other. What kind of to the slaughtering place? The other question. Do you have any advisor, like professional driver that maybe from that movie Fast and Furious, because the scenes are really, really good. I think since Bolt, I haven't seen something with so much action.
We wanted to make
Jeremy.
What's that?
Jeremy Friday.
We wanted to make the slaughter race scene the best car chase ever in animation.
Yeah.
And we referenced things
feel
like
real.
Bullet and the French Connection, and really gritty, raw 70s era, just hyper real cinema. And our animators and cinematographers all took courses on how to drive. So we have video somewhere of our heads of animation, like
on like
figuring out how a Formula One style car or a muscle car reacts and how it sounds and how it feels.
A spin, you know.
And it was hilarious watching them do it because they had no experience. But
they did great.
They did.
And it really fed, you know, kind of like that experience was like, especially with the animators, like they would draw on that, you know, as they were animating, and we had like a group of people too who are car fanatics that work at our studio, and they were always kind of present as we were reviewing, you know, shots and going through like camera angles and just the techniques of driving, you know, and I think that's why it works.
And we worked with the guy who did a lot of work on Baby Driver, Jeremy, who you know, would look at our shots after they were done and say, is this doable? Is this realistic? Could a car do this? Obviously, things like when the car is spinning through the tunnel is video game physics, but you know, the nuts and bolts of that scene are where the cars are behaving the way a car would behave, and I know both of us are as proud of that scene as anything we've ever done.
And as far as like choosing for Oh My Disney, it got to a point where there was a practical component of like, we can't build everything that we want to build, you know. It's like we said we can make, at the end of the day, we can make about this many characters, so we have to choose like which ones we want. You know, we couldn't just keep going and like, what about so and so, you know. We could have done that all day.
What about Kida?
Until we were told stop.
Enough. Chewbacca has a lot of hair. Stop it. Just no.
Can't can't do it. It's too hard. You've already got 14 princesses with very complex dresses.
Yeah.
No more oh my Disney stuff. So eventually it's like the clock runs out, and you have to kind of use what you have.
No, congratulations. It was
Thank you very
amazing.
much.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi. Whoa, ladies, I'm a princess too.
What kind of a princess are you?
Do you have magic hair? No.
Magic hands?
No.
Do animals talk to you?
No.
Were you poisoned?
No.
Cursed?
No.
Kidnapped or enslaved?
No. Are you guys okay? Should I call the police?
Do people assume all your problems got solved because a big, strong man showed up?
Yes. What is up with that?
She is a princess.
Make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. Work is never over.